Welcome to the Cash Flow Couple Podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Wendy Williams. How you doing? Here with my husband, John Williams.
Not in the basement again.
Nope.
So we're enjoying the warm weather outside again.
Au fresco.
Au fresco?
Isn't that how you say it?
I don't know. Is it French?
Outside? No, I think it might be Italian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know any
fresco? I think it might be
other languages, really. I know Pig Latin. Does that count?
Well, maybe.
So it's hot. It is hot outside. And just fair warning, there are children playing. It's summer. So if you hear the pitter-patter of feet or...
And it's not just our children.
No.
For some reason, we are the neighborhood...
Hangout.
Which
is kind of cool because you know where your kids are. But on the other hand, there are kids here. So there's that part.
Yes. There's like 5 kids at our house now. We just dropped one off at summer camp too.
Yes.
He went to Boy Scout camp.
Yes. So CJ went to Boy Scout camp this morning. Actually, we dropped him off this afternoon. But it's a really cool place.
It is. It's really neat.
It's one of the bigger ones. I noticed there were a lot of troops there that come from all over the U.S. because this particular camp is one of the largest, if not the largest one on the East Coast. So they come from all over, and it's a really cool place. We drove around a little bit. They have a lake and all the cool stuff that you can do at Boy Scout camp. I kind of wanted to stay myself.
John wanted to go to Boy Scout camp.
I did.
Can I just drop you off too?
Hey man, they have a climbing tower. They've got sailboats. They've got a rifle range and a shotgun range and an archery range and all this other cool stuff. I don't know about all the walking. I'm a little old, but all the other stuff sounds cool. I just need a golf cart.
John
So I'm going to go to Boy Scout camp with my golf cart and ride to each activity. Just need to find a uniform that fits. So anyway.
Oh, me. So now we're down one child, but yet we have 5 somehow have congregated here.
Yeah, so we lost 1 and we gained 4.
Not sure how that worked out, but anyway, so hopefully they will go play. And we live in a cul-de-sac too, so I can tell them to go play in the street. And it's right. Okay.
When he tells them to go play in the street, which is hilarious.
But it's okay because we don't get much traffic. But today, last week we were talking about lead generation, and we talked about fishing, farming, hunting, and scavenging.
Right.
So today I thought...
And the turkey vulture gang.
And the turkey vulture gang, yes. And hyenas got to eat.
Yeah, hyenas got to eat.
So today I thought we would talk about a form of fishing, which is marketing. So there's a couple of things that we have done, and we're going to see how they work out. So that's what we've been working on this week. I mean, this is supposed to be our journey, right? So we're supposed to be cataloging our journey. So what we have done this week is we have been working on our marketing.
Yeah, and this is online marketing.
Yes, this is online marketing. So the first thing that we did was set up a website.
Yeah. I mean, we had a website already for our business, but it wasn't a very good one, to be honest with you.
No, it really wasn't.
And we thought that, hey, this is something we need to do better with. So there are lots of different websites out there that you can have somebody build one for you if you want, custom. But there are also a lot of investor type out of the box solutions that you can use, like Investor Carrot is a really popular one. Lead Propeller is another one. And the cool thing about those is they come with all the back end, and they come with a lot of the content that you need already, and it looks professional.
It really does. It is a really great looking website, just straight out of the box.
Right. And what those sites do well is they do well designing it so that it will capture leads.
Yeah, because it has the form on there.
It has the
already.
form, but it's the way it's designed,
Yeah.
the way it flows, and all of that, and they're kind of masters at that. So that is a solution you can use, one of those pre-built type out of the box solutions, or you can have somebody build something for you. I think there are advantages and disadvantages to each. Obviously, if you do something custom, it's going to be more expensive. I would guess that's the most. That's the biggest drawback to that, and you have to create all your own content fresh. But the advantage to it is it doesn't look like anybody else's.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the disadvantage of going with like an Investor Carrot or Lead Propeller or whoever. Everybody starts with the same site. So if you don't go in there and customize it yourself and change it around at least a little bit, then it looks like everybody else's website that went and paid, $40 a month or whatever.
I think that's key. That's the key. If you're going to use those Investor Carrot and Lead Propeller, then the key is to personalize it somehow.
I think so. And your testimonials are going to be different than everybody else's. We've talked about putting video on there, like hosting it on YouTube and having a video there, so you have your face. It's not just some faceless generic type site and things like that. And I think things like that add to it. But at the same time, you don't want to take away from what they're really good at is converting. So it's how things are placed. It's the back end. It's the forms. It's the content sections that you have and things like that. So customize it, yes, but don't destroy what's there. Otherwise, build your own custom site. I would say. At least that's what I've learned so far.
I like it. I think it looks really good. It's really professional looking, and it has all the information on it that we were looking for, and we didn't have to do any of that ourselves. I mean, it just came with it.
Right.
So I really like it. And now all we have to do is personalize it a little bit.
Yes.
So I really like it. I think it's a great way to go. So, and it seems pretty cost effective. So we'll see what happens. I like it. So that's the first thing that we did was set up the website.
Yeah,
because you have to have some place for people to go.
Exactly.
I mean, they have to. I mean, if people don't want to call you, I mean, your phone numbers, yes, it's going to be on there. It's going to be on the very top, right, in big, bold letters. But there's a form on there for them to fill out, and it has a place for them to put comments or whatever their problem is, whatever they need help with.
Yeah, so they can contact you through the website, or they can call you.
And it automatically emails you.
Yes, that's the way it works on the
right.
back end.
So it's a way for you to capture people's information, their phone number, maybe their email address, and any kind of comments they want to make about it. So you already know when you call them kind of what the problem is.
Yeah, or at least what the property is.
Yeah.
If you're looking for real estate, I need to know, well, what's the address, right? How many bedrooms and bathrooms does it have?
We can do a little bit of...
You can capture a lot of information, but I think the key is you don't want to capture too much.
Right.
You don't want to have 100 question form because nobody's going to fill it out.
It's just like 4 questions. It's like your name. So
there's a balance. Yes.
Right. Yeah. That's really all it is. Your name, your email, your phone number, and the property address.
Yeah, but if you have 5, I don't think that's wrong either. I just think that you don't want to have 50.
Right.
There's a balance.
Right. For sure. But it's cool because I feel like the website is like the foundation of the house. If you want to use the analogy, if you want to use that kind of analogy. You don't build
the roof first, you build the foundation
exactly.
first.
So it's the foundation of your marketing. So that's where you're funneling everything to. So.
Yeah, and I think that's an important distinction to make. Your website really isn't your marketing.
Right.
So it's just a place. I mean, you put a website on the web. How many web pages are there on the web?
Right.
Millions.
So now you have to
tell everybody about it, right? You have to get people there.
Yes, you have to drive traffic there, right? So let's talk about that next. So now we've got a good website.
Yes.
So now we have to get people to go to it.
This is
So
true.
we've come up with 4 different ways to get people to go to your website.
Yeah, and I think there are more than 4.
I do, but just for simplicity's sake, let's just talk about the 4 that we've come up with. So you had made a really good point earlier, and you said, when I want to find out information about anything, where's the first place that you go?
Google.
Is Google.
Exactly. In fact, I might just break out my phone and say, okay, Google.
Exactly.
I want to sell my home quickly.
Right. So that's going to be key. And the key to getting on a Google search is called SEO. And SEO stands for search engine optimization.
Right. So like if somebody searches for anything, why does one site show up above another?
I always wondered that.
Now, you always have the ones at the top that are paid ads. So they showed up there because they paid to be there. But what about the ones that aren't paid? Why does one show up over another?
I feel like there's something internally that Google does, some kind of algorithm.
There's an algorithm.
I knew it.
So they try to, they're in the business of bringing back results that are relative. Like why do people use Google and not Bing? Or why do people use Google and not Yahoo search? Because when you search in Google, it gives you the result you want. And Google's really good at it. Like I can go in there and say, who's the fat guy that was in the 3rd episode of Matlock? And it actually brings back the guy's name. Like it's that good.
That's true.
Like a lot of times, just some bizarre, what's that blue color that people use on Ford Escorts? And it'll come back with the right blue color. So they have an algorithm that's really good at taking the input and giving you a relevant answer. Now, if I went to Bing, I wouldn't have the confidence that I'm going to get the fat guy on Matlock in the 3rd episode, right? I'm going to get an article about fat guys, or I'm going to get an article about Andy Griffith on Matlock, which, by the way, we went to Andy Griffith's hometown.
It was
today.
cool, wasn't it?
We went to Mount Airy today because it was near Boy Scout camp.
Right.
So we went and did the whole Mayberry thing. And,
John was in jail.
Yes, we went to the like little mock jail they have there, and
it was cool because on the little sign right there, the little placard, it had sheriff on one side, and then he turned it around and it said justice of the peace on the other.
Well, you've seen that on the show, right?
Yes,
that's what he does.
So cool. It was cool.
He's the sheriff. He's behind the desk. This is the Andy Griffith show, obviously, and not Matlock. But he's sitting at the desk, and it says sheriff, and somebody comes in to get married. He just flips his sign around. It says justice of the peace.
How cool is that? And they had a cool little typewriter.
They did.
It was neat.
And like the little old phone. But anyway.
And Emma was holding up and talking into the earpiece.
Oh, yeah. We put Emma in jail right away.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had the jail cells.
Oh, yeah.
So we put her in there, and she thought that was great.
Yeah.
And we tried to figure out how to make it lock. We couldn't figure it out. So we had to take it back home with us. But anyway, I forget why I got on that, because of Matlock.
Google.
Oh, I was Google searching. Yeah, so that's the kind of, Google's really good at that. So what you do is search engine optimization, and you can go on YouTube and you can go on Google and search for this kind of thing. But
and do it yourself. You can learn how to do it yourself.
You can say what makes a web page show up on a certain search term. So if somebody searches, for example, and says, I want to sell my house fast in Charlotte, then you can determine what websites are going to show up, and it's keywords, it's what sites link to yours, it's are you on social media, it's all sorts of little things, and you can figure all that out and educate yourself and do your website. But what we did was hire somebody that already knows how to do that stuff.
Yes, please. And it does cost a little money.
It's going to cost money to pay somebody, just like anything else you do.
Yeah. Well, the website's going to cost money. Marketing's going to cost a little money.
Yeah. You've always heard that phrase, it takes money to make money. And
marketing
that is
true.
true.
Yeah.
I think you'd be lying to say that it's not going to cost you any kind of money. Yeah, you can do free stuff. You can advertise on Craigslist and stuff like that. But it's either going to cost you time or money. I mean, yeah, you could put sweat equity into it, just like I said, and try to learn it, or you can pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm all about paying someone else to do something that is going to cost me time, because I can't get time back.
Yeah, I'd rather leverage somebody
I can always
else's
make more
time.
money. I can't get my time back.
Yep. True enough.
So that's SEO. It's organic. It's not paid advertisements. It's somebody searches for you. Do you show up?
That is so cool.
Because nobody's going to go to the 15th page to find
right.
you.
You
You
got to be
on up there.
On the first or second page for sure.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So that's one of the things that we did. And then another way to drive traffic to your website is Facebook ad campaigns.
Yeah, paid advertising. And Facebook is a great one.
Yeah, Facebook is really good. And that's going to cost a little money too.
It is, but it's not that much
It's
to
really
advertise
not,
on
though.
Facebook.
No.
You can put together some pretty easy ads to do and run them for, $5-10 a day is what I started with. And I'm getting quite a bit of traffic to the site.
But you used a really cool video.
I did. So you can, on Facebook ads, they don't really want you making text ads.
Yeah, it's too much to look at.
Well, see, Facebook is like that too. Their business is, yes, they make money on their advertisements, but they don't want to annoy their users. Because they depend on people using Facebook.
Right.
So if they're showing you ads that are very wordy or annoying or whatever, they're just not going to take your money because you're hurting their business.
When I see an ad, I'd rather see a picture or a video. I don't want to have to read a whole bunch of stuff.
So that's one thing I found with Facebook ads is they will penalize you for text. So that's why I went to the video.
And it's
I can
really
make
good.
a little video, or I can use a picture that again doesn't have words in it. So we have flips that we've done in the past and rehabs and things like that. So I just take pictures of like the before and say, hey, do you have a house that looks like this? We'll buy it.
It's great.
And so I'm kind of using my own pictures. I'm not going to Google and trying to get a generic picture of, a house somewhere with a tree falling on it. Using the ones we actually have done. And I think that adds a little bit of credibility to your ad too.
And the videos really good.
Yeah. I actually created those. So I'm not so bad at creating, little videos and putting together pictures and stuff like that. That's more in my wheelhouse. So I don't necessarily need to pay somebody to do that because it doesn't take a lot of my time to do it.
What program did you use? It's called Hit Film.
Yeah, there are several that you can use. I use HitFilm because it's free. Actually, they have a paid version, but it's called HitFilm Express. But it's just a video maker.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I already know how to use it because I use it for other things.
Right.
So it's not like I spent a lot of time learning how to use it. And, I just took the stuff we already had and put it together. It took me, 10, 15
well,
20
it's really
minutes.
good. I got to give it to you because I really like it. If I were in the market to sell my house, I would notice that it would catch my attention.
Yeah,
I think
so. I think video is always better than pictures.
I think so too.
And pictures are always better than text.
Yeah,
but either way, it's Facebook.
Yeah.
So you're paying for the ads, and the cool thing about Facebook is they have a lot of data on you. They have all your personal data, and it's not that they share. This was a recent thing.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Where they were, I'm talking about where they kind of got in trouble. Remember they had old Zuckerberg up there?
I do remember that.
Asking him how he had everybody's data and
Yes.
somebody used it incorrectly or something.
Right.
But the cool thing about that fact is that you can use that as an advertiser to really drill down to the audiences you want to see. So
Yep.
I don't just advertise to everybody in Charlotte. I advertise to everybody in Charlotte that owns a home, is likely to move quickly, or is over the age of 35 and, has been looking at, foreclosure websites or something.
Yep. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That amazes me.
I mean, that's not the
Facebook
exact ad, but
has that
you
kind
can
of
drill down like
information on you. Yeah.
that. And that way, and that's how I can spend $5 to $10 a day because I'm not paying to show it to everybody that's
right.
In Charlotte. I'm paying to show it to select groups. And so that's the power of the Facebook ad. And I really like that approach. And then it, of course, drives back to the website.
Exactly.
If somebody clicks on it, and it's inexpensive relatively.
Yeah, it's great. So we've got Google, SEO, Facebook ad campaigns, and the third one you already touched on a little bit was Craigslist ads because it's free.
Yeah, Craigslist is free.
And then your business card.
And Craigslist is the same thing. I mean, you're going to create an ad. I don't think you can put video. Maybe you can. But I know you can put pictures. So you can put a picture ad there with some text. But again, the less is better.
Yes.
You don't want a wall of text on.
And you see that a lot, especially on those We Buy Houses Cash.
Yeah, you want short, succinct.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 lines, 4 lines, and call me.
Yeah. And like bullet points. Don't put like big, huge, long sentences. I'm talking about bullet points here.
Because nobody's reading all that mess.
Exactly. I don't want to read it.
And it just takes you more time to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So the thing about Craigslist is being consistent. All this stuff is being consistent, but Craigslist, because I know there are programs out there that will automate and stuff like that. But really, you need to kind of, if you're going to do it for free and organically, you need to get in a routine where you're doing it.
Right. So you post some in the morning,
some in the evening,
some in the evening.
Or at least pick a time every day and just do it.
Sure.
It needs to be something consistent.
Yep.
Because it is a free source and it's free to everybody else too. So there's a lot more of it. And so you kind of have to show up a lot, before you start getting calls off of it.
Yeah.
But it is free and it's just your time.
Yep.
And you could hire a virtual assistant to do it if
true.
you wanted.
That's true.
So again, these are things you can outsource. But yeah, Craigslist is a great one just because it's free.
And then there's your business card.
Yeah, it's your business card. It's your, signage if you have it on your car. Anywhere you would put your phone number, you can put your website.
Yep. Exactly. And your business card should have your phone number and your website and your email address on there.
Yeah, sure.
So that'll help drive traffic to your
It helps drive traffic. It also helps give you credibility.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it makes you look more professional if you have a business card. People will take you more seriously.
And a real website.
And a real website.
And a real email address.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I don't let that stop you. I mean, I don't ever say, well, I need to do all these things before I go out and start.
No, I don't think so. No, we've been doing this for years now, and we're just now getting around to this.
Yeah. So it's not
that hasn't stopped us before.
But it does. It does give you another level of credibility to say my email address is info@thecashflowcouple versus info or johnandwendy@gmail.com.
Yeah. I mean, we're just upping our game. That's all.
Yeah. So I think there is something to that, but it's not the be all end all.
No. Agreed.
But yeah, what you're saying is right. Everything needs to go back to that.
Yeah.
Point of where they're actually going to contact you, because that's what you're really after. You want the contacts.
Right.
So part of it's having the website, but then how do you draw attention to it? How do you get the people get them to even know you exist?
Right. So the website is the foundation of your house, and the driving the traffic is maybe the walls.
Yeah, building the walls, the roof.
Yes, right.
So the other stuff.
I feel like the roof is the next part. This is the very last part.
Okay, give me the roof.
The follow up.
Yes.
That is, I mean, the roof is what keeps you dry, right? Hopefully it doesn't have any holes in it.
Well, it completes the house.
It does. And it gives it a very, it finishes it off.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If you're getting leads and you're not
of course
responding, then why are you even doing it?
Exactly.
But that sounds silly, but we've done it in the past.
Yes. Yeah,
we've gotten leads that we never followed up on.
We are definitely guilty of this.
So I'm definitely guilty of that. Yes. I'm guilty of not following up with people. Like I've went to look at houses before and never made an offer and never talked to them.
Yep. Isn't that silly?
Should have never done that.
It really is. But now we've got a system in place. So
We do.
I've created a questionnaire. I mean, because I've been doing it for a while, right? So now I know basically what kind of questions I need to be asking somebody in order to get enough answers and enough information so that I can make an offer.
Well, that's just it. You can't make an offer without knowing what the problem is.
Right.
You know?
So now when somebody calls off of any kind of traffic we've got going on, they call me. They get me on the phone, and I have some basic questions to ask them. So, I mean, it's not a script. You can't really script these kinds of things, I don't think, but I have some basic questions that I need to ask them, but I'm really looking for the problem. I'm looking for a problem to solve.
Yes. And that's kind of what, we've heard before, a diagnosis or a prescription without a diagnosis is malpractice, right? So you kind of have to know what the problem is before you can make an offer. And I think a lot of that is in the follow-up, in the talking to them on the phone.
Being a pig.
Being a PIG, a professional information gatherer.
Professional
right?
information gatherer, and that's me.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That's really where you're going with all this.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got a website. Yeah, you've got marketing to drive to the website. But if you don't follow up, then it's all for naught.
Exactly.
Right?
So I've got some questions to ask them, and I'm looking for the problem. And then I've created a spreadsheet where I can input all their information so that let's face it, I have children, I have mommy brain. I'm going to forget pretty much everything that you tell me.
Unless you write it down.
As soon as I hang up the phone.
Yeah.
If I don't write it down, I'm sorry. If you asked me where that Barbie doll was that you were playing with, that you had painted green on the boobies and you were playing with it 2 weeks ago, I know exactly where that is. But if you asked me about
how many
a phone
bathrooms
call
did that house have?
that happened 5 minutes ago. Oh, speaking of the devil. Yes, honey, okay. Give her back her phone, please. Okay. Problem solved. But I've created a spreadsheet to input all this information, and it goes along with the questions that I'm asking them. So even if the conversation doesn't really flow with the questions, I still have a spreadsheet, and as I'm listening, because I am going to be listening 70% of the time and only speaking 30% of the time.
Yeah, so Wendy's dropping some nuggets now that have nothing to
Right.
do with the original topic.
No, but listen.
But that's really good, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right, because it's important. If you want to get to the problem, you have to listen.
A lot.
You have to listen more than you talk. Have you ever met somebody who just talks nonstop?
Oh, yeah.
Just rambles on and on and on, and all you end up doing is just sitting there and nodding your head, but you never get to ask a question or make a comment about what they said. All they do is talk.
Or, a lot of times you'll have people that as soon as you stop talking, they start talking to respond. They didn't really hear what you said. They're not listening to listen. They're listening to respond.
I hate that.
So about halfway through what you said, they know what they're going to say, and they don't listen to anything else that you had to say because they got to remember what they were going to say back.
Yep.
And so you have to kind of avoid that too.
Yes.
Maybe write it down, but then go back to listening. Because I think you're right. That's such a big part of it is listening. And in fact, I've gotten pretty good at that. I've been practicing a lot, but what I'll do is, as somebody talks, they'll how people kind of pause, and I just won't say anything.
Right.
I'll just sit there.
It's an awkward silence for a little while, but
and if
then
you sit there for a few seconds, a lot of times they'll start talking again, and they'll tell you more, and that's where you can really get down to the problem. So that's a good golden nugget to take away from.
And there's another really good one that's called mirroring. Have you ever heard of mirroring?
Mirroring.
It's hard. That's really hard to say.
It is hard to enunciate
mirroring,
that word, yeah.
But it's where you repeat maybe the last three words that they have said.
Right. Like whatever they say to you, you kind of repeat it back to them.
Yes. So it makes people feel like you've been listening to them.
It does. And it also verifies that you heard them.
And it verifies that you heard them correctly.
Because sometimes you'll do that and they'll say, no, that isn't what I was saying.
Exactly. Yes.
And see, if you hadn't have done that, then you'd be making an offer that doesn't really solve their problem.
Exactly. And we know this because
we've done it.
We've done it.
Yeah.
We know it from experience.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, we had one, was that last week or the week before? We were like, all right, this is a done deal. This is just a phone call to work out the details. And it turned out that we were like way off the mark.
Yep.
They were like, yeah, we didn't want to do that at all.
Yep.
I was like, oh, well, I guess I got that wrong.
Oh, well.
So that's going to happen. But, that's how you learn.
Yep. True enough. And we've made plenty of mistakes. So, which means that we've learned a lot.
Yes.
So now we're imparting our wisdom.
Yes, yes.
We're just sharing our knowledge from all the failures that we've had.
There's just stuff you don't do, right?
So we've got the questionnaire, we've got the spreadsheet, and so once we've gathered that information, that's when we, at the very end of the conversation, is when you set up an appointment to go inspect the property.
Yeah, because the whole point of that is to get an appointment.
Yes, that's the whole crux of it, right? Is to get in front of the seller.
Yeah, I think the closer you can get to being in front of somebody, the better off you are.
Yes.
Talking on the phone is the least you should do. If they're not in the same state, it's hard to get in front of them sometimes.
Well, you can do a Zoom call.
Yeah, you could do a Zoom call, but some people don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's true. We've met a couple of those.
Or whatever. So then you have to go to the phone. But the worst thing you can do is be doing it by text message.
Yeah. Oh no.
Or email.
Don't ever do that.
So you'll get these things in from your website where it's an email. Call them. Don't just email them back, or don't just text them back. Call them on the phone at least, and try to set up a face-to-face if at all possible. So I think that's really important.
I think so too, and that goes along with what's going to happen next, because this is what you have learned at Larry Harbolt's the conference, because now that you know what the problem is and you've inspected the property, now you know what offer to make to them, and you can even make multiple offers, whichever one you could start with the first one. You would start with one offer that works for both you and them, but you could come up with multiple solutions to solve their problem, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, sure. I think having more than one way to solve the problem is always good.
Yeah, I agree.
But you have to know what the problem is.
Exactly.
It always comes back to that.
Yep, it does. I agree.
So that's kind of off of websites and marketing and all that. But I thought that was good information.
I think so. But it's still...
It's part of the process, yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
So, but that's all I had to say about that. Have you got anything to add?
No, that was really good. I think that's perfect.
Okay.
It comes down to, this strategy is fishing. So you're, putting the lures out there and, trying to drive traffic to your hook. That's a bad way. That's just a bad analogy, isn't it? Like you're hooking people or whatever. But it is kind of that way, because I do like this part about it. You don't know what's going to come back out.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. It can be an effective tool. And I think the components of that are having a good website, having multiple ways to drive traffic to that website, having a website that people will enter their information on, or at least call you off of, and then having a process of follow-up for those people. Have a way to process through their situation and be able to make an offer, because ultimately that's what it's all about, making offers, right?
That's what it's all about, making offers. Exactly. Well, I think we should wrap this up because the children are getting closer and closer.
Yes, they're edging in closer and closer. So.
Yes. So, well, thank you for watching. No, thank you for listening.
Is there a camera in here somewhere?
But
thanks. Secretly filming me. Now I'm paranoid.
Stick it on YouTube without you knowing. But thank you for listening. If you found value in this episode, we would love for you to go to our YouTube channel and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Where there is video you can watch.
Well, there is
and video. You can also listen to this, this podcast.
Right, there. Yes. And you can contact us. info@thecashflowcouple.com is our website, is our email address, info@thecashflowcouple.com, and our Facebook page at The Cashflow Couple, because we love to hear from people. So we would love to know what you do to drive traffic to your website. So thank you for listening, and merci. A bientôt.